Let's turn to business news now with Giles Beckford, who beams in from Wellington, our business editor. Hi, Giles. You've been looking at a report that is looking at the 10 hottest growing spots in the country. Now, I haven't heard anything about this. What's the criteria and who's hot and who's not?
Generally speaking, the report focuses on population growth, John, and it's a case of who have had the strongest population growth, and therefore you extrapolate those gains and say, well, where they're likely to be the strong growth points for the future. It comes from the Infometrics Economics Consultancy. It's a bit of a think tank, and they've sat down and they've crunched the numbers and looked at where the population's been growing. It goes without saying, really, that the top spots go to Auckland, and they go to parts of Auckland, not just Auckland in general, which is what the rest of the country would think, but parts of Auckland. The ones that are mentioned are Beachlands Drury, Hobsonville, Central Auckland, Orewa, Helensville. So from that point of view, those are seen to be the places that have got the strongest growth now and will have the strongest growth in the future. And with that, of course, comes the implication that there will be the demand for services, economic activity, consumer activity, house prices, construction services, the works. So the other parts of the country that do sneak in, and I have to say that Auckland occupies 4 of the 5 top spots. Southwest Christchurch, I don't know how big an area that is after the various quakes and liquefaction. Central Wellington, bits of Queenstown, a small bit of Whangarei, Marsden Point, they say in Whangarei, and a little bit around Queenstown and some suburbs, and Hamilton as well. So those are seen to be the thriving spots at the moment, and the implication being thriving spots for the future. Whether they're places to aspire to rush forward and get to settle there, I don't know. There could be places, in fact, to say that you wouldn't want to go there in the month of Sundays if they're that hot.
Gosh, I was just looking at that list, Giles. So Southwest Christchurch, obviously there's a lot of post-quake activity out that way. Central Wellington, well, there's been quake activity there in the past week and a half, and I was thinking, have they assessed the impact of the earthquakes on Kaikoura and that area?
They did a postscript to the report, John, on Kaikoura and North Canterbury, South Marlborough, and a little bit about Wellington. The suggestion is, in fact, that judging by the experience after the Christchurch quakes, that Kaikoura could expect to lose perhaps up to 16% of its population. You think 16 out of every 100 people there. Now, there's only, what, a couple of thousand there generally, so that's quite a loss over the next couple of years for that area. Clearly, its future does rely upon the clearing up of the roads, getting safe, reliable access north and south, and they suggest, Infometrics does, that will probably take at best a year or more, and it means that the rest of the country will have to chip in, will have to keep supporting Kaikoura while those recovery efforts are underway, and at least some level of reconstruction takes place.
Yeah, and support with getting tourists, encouraging tourists to go, in which the government's talking about a big marketing push. What happened on the markets today, Giles?
A positive day for the share market. Top 50 up 32 points at 6,883. The New Zealand dollar a shade on the soft side, and that's largely a reflection of the stronger US dollar. 69.8 US cents, and that's a 2-3 month low, and 94.8 Australian cents.
Giles Beckford, our business editor. Thanks, Giles.